Today on Investigate TV Plus, innocent airline passengers stopped at the gate by plainclothes drug agents and compelled to have their bags searched. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Our investigation uncovers a nationwide program that seized millions of dollars in cash without any arrest, and the single incident that grounded it.
Plus, scamming the scammer. An elderly couple duped by a text was a button push away from financial ruin.
I was just believing everything they said.
We break down the convincing con and show you how a stranger turned the tables on the scammer.
Then, words of wisdom.
If I sit and start to watch TV, I feel like that's a waste of time. I could be doing something to make the world a better place.
And inspiration from a woman whose actions reflect what's in her heart. In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
They said we were notified that you had a lot of cash on you. I said, what is it against the law for me to travel with cash?
Drug agents confront and search passengers at airport gates just moments before they board a plane.
I'm going to seize the money, but if you want to walk away from a federal investigation that's linked to the money, those are your options. But if you sign this, nobody from the U.S. Attorney's Office will contact you. Oh, man.
Our investigation uncovered multiple videos of these encounters showing passenger consent was often compelled by agents who told travelers they would otherwise miss their flight or face a drug screening dog and a long wait for a search warrant.
And it's really not much recourse for the people. So, yeah, something definitely needs to be done.
In the vast majority of these cases, passengers were not arrested or charged with any crime.
Investigative reporter Brendan Keefe takes an in-depth look at this controversial practice, the airport encounter that got the attention of the feds, and the investigation that put an end to this program.
You're either going to sign a consent form saying that you're allowing us to search them.
Whatever you guys are doing in this airport,
or I'm going to detain them.
Is totally wrong.
Run my dog on it and get a search warrant.
I'm a random search, guys.
I didn't feel like I could have said no.
So those white folks, and I'm the random search.
No, there's no way this is random.
Innocent passengers searched at the gate by plainclothes drug agents looking to seize cash.
You're taking people's money based off an assumption.
I work hard for my money.
How many innocent people do you have to search before you find what you're looking for?
Sir, I've got nothing to say to you.
The DEA still hasn't answered our questions, but our 2-year investigation,
why do people have to prove themselves innocent,
would lead to a single incident that would end the entire program nationwide.
Oh, that's my, hey.
That's yours. Where's your bag at?
I don't consent to search, sir.
You don't have to consent. Where's your backpack at? Where is it? Under your seat?
It got put away, but I don't consent to being searched.
I don't care what your consent stuff.
Had you not seen our investigation, what would you have done?
I would have just assumed that it was part of a standard screening procedure and consented to the search.
David recorded the incident on the very same phone where he had watched our investigation in plain sight. He stopped recording only to double-check the article so he could stand up for his rights.
I didn't consent to be searched. Like, I dragged off the plane here. Is that accurate?
Actually, you walked off the plane. I didn't drag you off. I took your bag off the plane. So
you took the bag off my plane. Okay.
Yeah, tell your story.
Back detained, not you.
Yeah, you're trying this legal stuff. It's not going to work, dude.
This particular passenger said no, did not give consent. Correct. And the task force officer removed his bag from the plane anyway.
And to do that, the agent needed reasonable suspicion.
The Inspector General of the U.S. Department of Justice reopened his investigation of the DEA's airport cold consent encounters after seeing the video David recorded.
We wouldn't do this and be doing it across the country if it was illegal.
Without the subject thinking to immediately use their cell phone to record the event, we certainly wouldn't have known about it. In fact, we clearly wouldn't have known about it because absent that video, there was no record of the incident.
The DEA had no record because agents didn't find drugs or cash in David's bag.
The DEA wasn't keeping records of its encounters unless it found cash or drugs.
And they promised you they would.
And they promised us after our first report a decade ago they would.
Once they learned of your latest investigation, they were going back and filling out these reports from months earlier?
It turned out because they hadn't found any cash or drugs when they did the search of that individual, they hadn't prepared any paperwork at the time. When we began our investigation and asked for the paperwork, that's when, months later, they started creating paperwork trying to lay out why they did what they did.
David's name was put on a DEA list because he bought a last-minute ticket.
When you buy a last-minute ticket, we get alerts.
In some cases, the only reason for the so-called cold consent encounter was a purchase of a last-minute ticket. I purchased a last-minute ticket to come interview you.
Approaching individuals based solely on that basis, without any lead, any other information to suggest they might be a drug courier or money launderer, was concerning.
The Inspector General discovered David's last-minute ticket was reported to the DEA by an airline employee who was a regular paid informant.
A single commercial airline employee received tens of thousands of dollars, effectively a cut of the money seized.
It turned out that the individual was getting a percentage of the amount seized on multiple occasions over a longer period of time.
Informants are being paid with confiscated property from searches that the informants triggered with no real evidence. It's obvious why that's a potential abuse and a potential violation of civil rights.
U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff of Georgia launched his own inquiry with the Department of Justice, citing the findings of our investigation.
What was the most troubling thing you saw in our reporting?
There is an economic incentive to stop, search, and confiscate, even where there was little or no, in many cases, no evidence implicating the person searched, and where here in Georgia it appears that there may have been racial profiling involved.
Senator Ossoff's inquiry and the Inspector General's report landed on the Attorney General's desk within days of each other.
The Inspector General's report was scathing about the failures associated with this program. Many of those failures revealed by your reporting.
We are recommending, which is what we did in the report, immediately suspending these activities, which the department did.
This is the directive from the Deputy Attorney General of the U.S. Department of Justice, ordering the DEA to stop searching innocent passengers at departure gates nationwide.
Following our investigation, the Drug Enforcement Administration launched an investigation of its own.
The internal review determined the program was not effective and that modern drug dealers don't use cash while traveling through airports. Instead, they use Bitcoin through the internet. The DEA administrator has ordered the entire program to be dismantled and reassign the agents to international drug cartel investigations. The cold consent encounters operation is shut down. Up next, a senior citizen responded to what she thought was an urgent call.
They said if they caught him down by the police station, they would arrest him right away.
So she took action to protect her husband. You'll see how what happened next saved the couple from financial harm and serves as a warning.
Then later, a rural response. Midwestern farmers talk frankly about mental health and an effort to connect more farming communities with care.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Tether, they're all examples of digital money known as cryptocurrency, which can be used to buy goods or traded for profit. Since the end of 2021, ownership of digital assets in the United States has nearly doubled.
As of April 2025, approximately 28% of Americans, or 65 million people, own digital currency, while another 14% say they plan to buy it. But what is cryptocurrency and why do some investors find it appealing? Sean Worthington is a tech innovator who created a digital currency called CloudCoin. He explains how crypto works.
Cryptocurrency is money. When we have cash in our pockets, the writing that's on the paper is actually data. And cryptocurrency is just a digital form of that.
Digital currency doesn't require a bank to verify transactions, which is why law enforcement says it's become popular with criminals.
Reporter Mike McKnight walks us through one crypto scam targeting the elderly and shows us how a total stranger turned the tables on a con artist.
I was just believing everything they said.
The scam starts with an ominous call about missed federal court.
Again, this is Marshall Lee, and it is urgent you contact us at your earliest convenience.
It's a phony threat to arrest 75-year-old Jim Gamble that scammers took to a new level.
Yeah, I thought it was real.
By sending his wife Joyce a text with a phony written warrant. They sent you this warrant. Why didn't you go to a police station or the sheriff's office and see if it's real?
Well, they said if they caught him down by the police station, they would arrest him right away.
So the scammer instructed the couple to withdraw $9,000 cash from their bank account and head to a Bitcoin kiosk to deposit the money in a cryptocurrency ATM.
I was just standing right here with the phone to my head talking to the guy.
A conversation with a phony marshal that's overheard by an unidentified customer leaving the store, but I won't show his face without permission.
That's a scam, 1000%. They're not the cops.
The stranger takes the phone and turns the tables on the scammer.
Detective Rogers, who is this?
The scammer hangs up, and the Good Samaritan tells the couple the written warrant is bogus.
That's not a warrant. That's not a warrant. They don't send warrants by phone. This is absolutely not legit, guys.
The stranger stopped the scam in the nick of time.
Yeah, just that close. All she had to do was push one more button on this machine and it would have been gone. Yeah. That's how close it was.
Too close for Sheriff Aaron Hansen, who hears from the store owner that he now realizes others haven't been so lucky.
And they'll be standing in front of here, and I just thought everybody was sad putting their money away. I didn't know they were being scammed. And they'll be crying when they put money in here, and I don't question it because it's not.
Let me tell you why they're crying. Because someone's on the other end of the phone saying, you're going to jail if you don't pay thousands of dollars right now into this kiosk.
The Bitcoin ATM belongs to a third-party company, which gave the store owner the okay for a scam warning sticker to be placed by the sheriff. Also, there are alert cards that can be handed out to seniors seen at the kiosk. Fortunately, the Gambles had an unidentified stranger who warned them.
None of this looks legit. None of this.
That Good Samaritan save caught on that security camera, and at the end you can see the senior citizen couple are very glad that stranger saved them from losing $9,000.
Joyce gives a thank you hug, but in the emotional moments of relief, she didn't get a last name for the life savings lifesaver.
Bless his heart for being here at the right time and at the right place, and I would love to be able to thank him again personally.
In February 2025, a group of U.S. senators introduced the Crypto ATM Fraud Prevention Act. The bill would require scam warnings on crypto ATMs, that operators take reasonable steps to prevent fraud, and measures to limit the amount consumers lose if they're scammed.
Still ahead, her compassion inspires her friends to do good.
I always think to myself, what would Becky do before I do anything?
A college professor delivers a life lesson on making the world a better place.
But first, planting the seeds of change.
It's really hard for a lot of those folks to ask for help.
Farmers and ranchers face daily job stress and often won't talk about their struggles. We explore efforts to reduce stigmas and provide rural areas with better access to mental health care. When you think of life on the farm, what comes to mind? A red barn, animals, some fields, maybe a white picket fence? While it may seem like a Norman Rockwell painting, life on the farm is far from picture perfect.
Unpredictable weather, the cost of feed, and long hours away from family can all add up to a heavy burden for farmers. In rural Missouri, photojournalist Beth Peak shows us some of the emotional challenges farmers often deal with and how a rancher hopes to change the narrative.
My name is Macy Hurst. I ranch in mid-Missouri with my mom, my sister, and most recently my fiance as part of Lady Livestock Company. We have farms in Marys and Miller counties, and we've been here for a few years.
Solid start.
Agriculture, first of all, is a community, and it's made up of so many unique individuals that have this passion for not only the animals, but also for the land. So we're gonna go through this gate, and it might get a little western for a second because it is muddy down there. Those cows are gonna run up here, so. We are blessed to be stewards of the land and the animals, and that's a responsibility we take very, very seriously. Even though nature's not always a good partner, but that's what we signed up for. There are a lot of reasons why mental health has such a big impact on, I think, rural communities and people who work in agriculture. Farmers and ranchers have an astronomically high suicide rate. In 2020, actually, it was 6 times that of the average.
My name is Derek Landis. I am a social worker who focuses in disparities in healthcare in rural communities and looks at how we can use technology to overcome those challenges and help increase care. Access is a huge hurdle. You know, we're seeing access shrink. We're having, even as population actually overall kind of grows, we're seeing providers that are there leave. The first line of my needs assessment is rural Missouri is done.
A lot of us live out in the middle of nowhere. Where we are standing right now, there's not a medical health professional within an hour in any direction.
In our work, and this is something I'm working on right now, I'm not even sure telehealth is the right word, because what we're talking about is larger. We're talking about like digital infrastructure.
Some of us don't have access to internet. We have, poor cell service, and so there's this sense of isolation.
And so my big project has been developing a platform called Connect, and that's still in its alpha. I've been working on it for about 4 or 5 years, and so I've got a tool that is organized and built specifically to bring together everybody who is involved in the intersections of healthcare and rural, so that we can create a virtual spot where we can bring together practitioners in the Northwest. They're doing these cool things, maybe that will help this person. Where we can bring in those that work in advocacy, so we can actually get the voices from our rural communities so that we can come up with solutions that are tailored for this community.
We can't care for our families or our animals or our land if we aren't our best selves physically and mentally.
There's a lot of value on what these communities bring, and they deserve an equal share of the resources.
Farmers and ranchers are very proud people. They have a lot to be proud of.
Almost equal to the hurdle of access is the hurdle of stigma.
I've heard people use even the reasoning of, if I go to a therapist, someone's going to recognize my truck in the parking lot. I call it this kind of cowboy culture. They're tough and they're rugged, and we've been doing this for hundreds of years, and we've gotten pretty good at it, but at the same time, that means that it's really hard for a lot of those folks to ask for help.
Telehealth is awesome, and it is a piece of the solution, but it is a puzzle piece, and it does not replace boots on the ground.
A lot of the state health and agriculture departments are implementing programs that help farmers and ranchers. I'm in therapy. I encourage it to a lot of people, but my therapist is not a farmer. He's not a rancher. He has no idea what some of the struggles that I go through on the farm or ranch are. And so whenever they create programs and they bring in resources that understand the struggle of a farmer or rancher, I think that's crucial.
We need to try to bring together everybody at the table so that we can make sure that the communities that provide the base level of necessity for everyone else don't get left behind, because if they do, it's going to end up hurting everyone.
Up next, from good deeds,
I donated a kidney to my friend's brother,
to community needs.
It's rewarding to talk to the people and hear their stories.
A volunteer inspires others to commit acts of kindness.
Becky Durfee is what some people refer to as a doer.
From volunteering at an animal shelter to helping the homeless, this college professor inspires friends with her simple acts of kindness and willingness to help anyone in need.
Reporter Ashley Hendricks shows us why Becky will inspire you to do good, too.
This group of friends in Richmond didn't hit the lottery, but certainly got lucky when they met Becky Durfee.
Becky's one of those friends where if there's a way she can help you, she will jump right in.
I always think to myself, what would Becky do before I do anything?
Everyone plays their part in making this 20-year friendship flourish.
So we're really lucky to have each other.
But Jennifer Barato says what Becky does on top of working as a professor at VCU and Bright Point Community College is what sets her apart.
I think that she's living the life
and in a way that we all really, if we were living that way, it would be a better place.
Along with being a mother of 2 college students and caring for her elderly father, she volunteers a lot of her time. She's a familiar face here at Richmond Animal Care and Control.
This is Cleveland.
Helping with dishes and laundry and occasionally bringing home a furry friend.
I know there's such a need for fostering kittens, and you get them when they're at their cutest.
Then there's the Love and Kindness Crew, a nonprofit that serves the homeless.
And it's rewarding to talk to the people and hear their stories and see their faces and laugh with them, and you know, they're people. They're people just going through a tough time.
Whether it be a friend or a complete stranger, Becky will literally give anything to help others, even her kidney.
Yes, I donated a kidney to my friend's brother. She sent out a Facebook message saying that her brother was going to die without a kidney, and I just recognize how blessed I am.
She balances work, family, community service, and even writing books, all with gratitude and a smile. Her secret?
If I sit and start to watch TV, I feel like that's a waste of time. I could be doing something to make the world a better place. And so I do.
With no time to waste, she's determined to make every minute count.
My goodness, teacher, volunteer, author, kidney donor, what are we doing with our lives?
She did say when we were watching that story, she's like, we're terrible. We haven't done anything with our lives.
Yes.
Book, I mean, just...
We're inspired now.
We're inspired.
Yeah.
We're doing more.
You'll hear about it.
All right there. Yes. All right. That's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm T. Chappelle. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, some states have banned cell phones in school, and others are strongly considering it.
We really feel strongly that the time is now.
We take an in-depth look at both sides of the debate and the different approaches encouraging kids to hang it up in class.